And in fact, these elephants were so horny that they were masturbating by striking their penis against their belly. So the normal male reference range for testosterone in humans is about 300 to 1000 nanograms per deciliter. But did you know in the animal kingdom, us humans are far exceeded by some animals with huge amounts of natural levels of testosterone. In fact, testosterone levels in animals are known to rise quite substantially just before breeding, probably because testosterone plays a key role in libido, aggression, sexual behaviour, sexual desire, and the ability for an animal to impregnate a female and have babies. We know that in the animal kingdom, it's ruthless. They don't have the societal structure that we have. And in the animal kingdom, they need to be aggressive and be able to outlast their competition in order to pass on their genetics and their genes to a female and have offspring. But it's actually surprising just how high these levels get. So here are the top 5 animals with the highest testosterone levels in the animal kingdom. Coming in at number 5, we have the Asiatic elephant or the bull elephant. Now they go into something called Macarthur, once a year. And when they go into this state, it's characterized by significantly increased aggressive behavior and sexual desire, and this coincides with their mating period. In a study from 1970, males in this Macarthur period actually had testosterone levels as high as 6,540 nanograms per deciliter. That's over 6 times as much as a human male at the top of the reference range. Now, I'm not exactly sure how they did studies in the 1970s, but apparently they tied these elephants up and then took their blood, but they were tied up with chains. But I was a bit concerned when I saw the sentence dribbling from their penis. And in fact, these elephants were so horny that they were masturbating by striking their penis against their belly. That is how much the testosterone affected them. In their own words, elephant number 13 broke his chains and ran amok. I guess he didn't like having his chain yanked. Moving on to the next highest testosterone animal, we have male marbled salamanders. In a study from 1996, the males migrating in the breeding season had testosterone levels as high as 7,830 nanograms per deciliter. And in fact, the highest testosterone in all the sample was one migrating male that had a testosterone of 11,000 nanograms per deciliter. But just as some proof that this really only happens during breeding season, the only ones that reached that level were the ones that were migrating during breeding. The males that were kept in the lab conditions and had no sexy time, well, what happened with them? They had testosterone levels that were significantly lower than the huge 11,000 level. In fact, these guys only had around 500 nanograms per deciliter, which is actually still quite amazing, but it just goes to prove that breeding season is key in the animal kingdom because testosterone is so powerful as a sexual stimulant. Moving on to number 3, we have salamanders again. They have 2 spots on the top 5 list, but this time we have the male dusky salamander, who clocked in at a whopping 13,000 nanograms per deciliter. And there's no surprise that testosterone significantly increases sexual desire because in this study, the males that had their balls chopped off or castrated were the ones that basically had no sex with the females compared to the guys who had that huge high level of testosterone. Moving into number 2, we're taking a dive into the ocean, and the second highest testosterone level in the animal kingdom recorded is from the male bonnethead shark. Testosterone levels in these guys reached almost 20,000 nanograms per deciliter. But keep in mind, again, this wasn't year round. It's not just a constant bleed of this 20,000 nanogram per deciliter level. It's only during breeding season. Really only during the months of July, August, and September, which aligns with their breeding season. The other thing that increased was their Gonadosomatic Index. And if you're wondering what this is, it's basically how big and fat their testicles are. They had huge balls full of sperm and full of this just liquid sperm ready to impregnate the females as fast and hard as possible because they're in that breeding season and they have that very high level of testosterone ready to breed. So it's just amazing in the animal kingdom how high these levels of testosterone can get, because in the animal kingdom, they need to be able to pass on their genes and breed as effectively as possible. It's just incredible, 20 times higher than a male human at the top of the reference range in a male bonnethead shark. But this level is even dwarfed when we look at number 1, and number 1 goes to to a male bull shark. Just one single male bull shark in a study from 1984 had a testosterone level of 358 nanograms per milliliter, which is the equivalent of 35,800 nanograms per deciliter of testosterone in the shark's blood. That is almost 40 times the upper limit of a human's testosterone level, and it is absolutely crazy how high this is. And just interestingly, to put in just how crazy this is and just how crazy something else is, Dallas Macarthur, who was the American bodybuilder who died at just 26 from a heart attack, completely rare, the chances of that are 3 in 1,000. It should not happen at 26, but he had severe coronary atherosclerosis, and his testosterone levels when he died were measured on his autopsy report at 550, which is 55,000 nanograms per deciliter. So if you thought the bull shark was a lot of testosterone, Dallas Macarthur died with testosterone levels of 55 times the highest amount, or the top of the reference range, for a male. So there you have it, the top 5 animals with the highest testosterone levels in human nature, and it all occurs during breeding season because testosterone is so powerful at increasing sexual desire and sexual drive in animals. Thanks for watching, guys. I really appreciate all the support. Fitness science, interesting facts about the animal kingdom. Nobody really probably needs to know this, but there you go. If you ever are on a trivia night and you want to talk about the 5 highest testosterone level animals in the world, well, now you know. Thanks, guys. See you in the next video.